In today's episode, I will attempt to simplify my overcomplicated steak cooking process to see if I can make the greatest tasting steak in the world with an air fryer. I've overcomplicated things so much in the past with smokers and reverse searing things. I want to see if I can do it. And today's video is sponsored by Tastee Air Fryer. You guys are going to want to watch this one till the very end to see how amazing this steak turns out.
In today's video, I am going to show you how to cook the greatest tasting steak in the world. How do I have the right to do that? Well, I'm a carnivore and I've eaten nothing but meat for the last 365 plus days, and I know how to cook a steak. But I want to cook it in the most simplest method possible so that we can get consistency. This steak will rival, I take that back. This steak will beat out the greatest steak restaurants you've ever gone to. Why? Because we can do it super thick and we can control it and we can make it right to the taste that we want it. No seed oils, no crazy seasoning all over the top of it. Just a beautiful, delicious steak, hopefully perfectly cooked. Stay with us and see if we can do it. I have this new gadget. It's a Tastee air fryer with smart probe so that we can probe the steak and cook it to the correct temperature, which is the #1 key to getting a great steak. It has nothing to do with time. I'm excited. You guys got to see what I got in store for you here. Look at this bad boy. This is almost 6 pounds. Oh, it's heavy. It's heavy. I almost dropped it. 6 pounds. Beef ribeye roast, USDA choice, 5.84 pounds. We're gonna use this, and I'm gonna cut this up into nice, thick ribeye steaks. I'm gonna take you along for the ride, and then we're gonna put this Tastee air fryer to the test and see if we can't make the most simplest, yet most delicious, incredible steak in the world. Let's get started. Boop. All right, before we slice up our beautiful, thick ribeyes, let's unbox this thing. Smart Cook Air Fry. Instructions. We have 50 air fryer recipes. We have a Tastee air fryer. Very well packaged. Good carnivore always has a Spyderco knife on them. You got a little rack here, I like that. So that fits inside here like this. You also have a viewing window on the front. That's a nice little touch. You got a temperature probe on the side. There's an app, so I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna get this app. There's a little QR code in. Open it up. Allow. Ooh, look at that steak. That looks delicious. Sirloin. We're gonna press connect. Okay, now I'm signed in, so I click add appliance, allow. We are all set up with the app, and now I'm gonna cut up this beauty. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4 thick steaks and then 1 thin one. This one right here. You got some nice fat. A little bit fat in here. I'd like it a little bit fattier, but that is a thick cut steak. So we're gonna see how our Tastee air fryer does with that. First, I've gotta wash my hands. The whole top of this is an interface and it lights up and it looks really futuristic. So we're gonna select steak, and there's a little readout here, and you can press these little buttons here to go through. Ribeye, filet. Well, we have a ribeye. And then how do we want it cooked? You have choices, medium rare, rare. I'm gonna go with medium rare. So we take the temperature probe out of the side, just like that. It's got a nice little container that it stays in. We'll put this back here. So we're gonna insert this probe into the steak, and you wanna do it right in the center of the steak, and you don't want it to end up resting in the fat. So you're gonna go right in the middle of it here, find the middle, take your time, Push it in there and make sure it goes in nice and parallel. You don't want it popping out of the top or the bottom. So we're going to open the Tastee air fryer, and we have a rack in there. We're going to set the steak on the rack, and then we're going to put this back in here, and then this plugs right into the side right here where it says probe. Now I'm going to go on the top, turn the unit on. I'm going to press steak, ribeye, okay, medium rare, okay, 23 minutes. All right, it says to flipper. Let's take a flip. Oh, it's looking good. Give it a little flip. Oh, this thing's gonna be fantastic. And there's 13 minutes left. It even tells you the time. Right now it's 11:34. It's gonna be done at 11:47. And it'll ding me on the phone, so you can't mess it up. Temperature, temperature, temperature. It's all about cooking steak to temperature. And when you go to a fancy steak restaurant, do you know what sets apart some of the best restaurants in the world? Consistency. If you go there every time and they make your steak perfectly or your food perfectly and it's the same, if it's different or tastes different, people don't want to come back. You get consistency with this temperature probe. You always want to rest a steak on a rack. You never want to rest a steak on a cutting board or a plate because all of that heat will pull all of the juices out of the steak and it'll dry it up. I just got that ding ding on my phone and on the unit, the Tastee unit itself. The steak is ready, but doesn't mean it's time to eat. We gotta let it rest. So let's try to pull this thing out here. Oh, look at that beauty. All right, I'm gonna, you could just leave it in here, but because I wanna get some camera shots, I wanna pull this whole thing out. I'm gonna pull the probe out. The steak is rested. I'm gonna cut into this and show you what it looks like. Right down the middle. Oh, look at that. Perfectly medium rare. The other trick to a great steak is great salt. I absolutely love this stuff. It's called Malden's Flaky Sea Salt. Make it rain. All over the cutting board. You cut it at 1/4 inch. It's very important. Oh, this looks fantastic. Cut that piece in half. It's even a little too big for me. Dip it in the salt. First bite. You put both of your hands up in the air to celebrate because it's fantastic. Now the problem is, how do we finish eating the steak when our hands are literally stuck in the air like this? I don't know. That is fantastic. That should be in the dictionary next to the definition of medium rare. That is perfectly medium rare. Fantastic. All right, so what did we learn here? Consistency is key. You can make an incredible steak with just an air fryer. You don't have to have a smoker and charcoal and all of these things. If you can get it to that perfect of a cook, the meat, the salt, the flavor, that'll do the rest of it for you. This is an incredible steak. So in terms of this Tastee air fryer, what do I think? I give it a thumbs up. I'm gonna use it some more, but I really do like it. Number one, it was super easy to set up. I took it out of the box, I plugged it in. You stick the probe in, you press steak, you say how you want it cooked. It couldn't be any simpler. One thing I was worried about is whenever I get these things and you gotta have an app for them, it's always a pain in the butt and the app doesn't work or the Bluetooth doesn't work or the Wi-Fi doesn't connect. Not the case here. Literally, I downloaded the app and like 2 minutes later, the app was connected to this. And it's really cool because you don't have to sit here by the device. You could be outside, you could be doing some other project and you're not paying attention. And then ding, ding, ding on the phone, it tells you your steak is ready. The cool thing too is you don't need the app to use it. It has a whole interface right on the top. And it'll cook it and you'll hear it ding and you can hear it. It's got a little notification on it and everything. So you don't have to have the app. It's just a little option. In conclusion, I'm a big fan of the Tastee air fryer. The steak came out perfectly cooked exactly how I wanted it. It was easy to set up. It's easy to get consistency with it. Big thumbs up.